There is a term that energy economists use when oil prices rise so fast that the economy stops consuming. It is called demand destruction. And right now, a professor at Switzerland's IMD Business School in Lausanne is warning that we may be heading directly into it. Let me explain what this actually means, because most people hear the word destruction and think about supply, about pipelines, about tankers, about the Strait of Hormuz. But demand destruction is different. And in many ways, it is more dangerous. When oil prices rise gradually, consumers adapt. They grumble. They drive a little less. They turn the thermostat down slightly. But they keep functioning. The economy keeps moving. When oil prices spike 60% in 30 days, which is exactly what has happened since February 28th, something fundamentally different occurs. People and businesses do not just adapt, they stop. Pakistan told cricket fans to watch from home to preserve fuel. Australia launched a 4-level national fuel rationing plan. Germany introduced emergency regulations, capping fuel price increases to once per day after some stations were raising prices 22 times daily. Airlines are canceling flights from Vietnam to New Zealand. Japan is restarting coal-fired power plants. South Korea has restricted naphtha exports for 5 months. That is not adaptation. That is an economy physically shutting down consumption because it can no longer afford to function normally. And here is why demand destruction is more dangerous than simply high prices. High prices hurt, but they are reversible. When the Strait of Hormuz reopens, oil falls, prices normalize, life resumes. Demand destruction creates permanent damage. Factories that shut down take months to restart. Supply chains that fracture take years to rebuild. Companies that go bankrupt during an energy shock do not come back when prices normalize. The economic scar tissue from demand destruction outlasts the energy shock itself by years. Now let us look at Switzerland. Switzerland imports nearly all of its energy. Every franc of energy price increase flows directly into Swiss manufacturing costs, Swiss logistics costs, Swiss consumer prices. The Swiss National Bank is now facing a scenario it has not confronted since the 1970s oil crisis. Rising energy-driven inflation on one side, slowing economic growth on the other, the classic stagflation trap. And a professor at IMD in Lausanne, Switzerland's own world-leading business school, warned this week that even if the United States withdraws from Iran, Tehran can sustain its stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz indefinitely. Physical shortages will emerge, and demand destruction becomes not a risk, but a certainty. For Europe, the picture is equally alarming. Nearly 2,000 vessels are currently trapped inside the Persian Gulf. 12 to 14% of European LNG comes through the strait. The IEA has already called this the largest energy supply disruption in history, larger than the 1973 oil embargo, larger than the 1979 crisis combined. The question is no longer whether demand destruction is coming. The question is how deep it goes and how long it lasts. Watch the April 6th deadline very carefully, because if the Strait of Hormuz does not begin to reopen this weekend, the next phase of this crisis will be significantly worse than what we have seen so far. Brace yourselves. Those were the exact words from IMD Lausanne this week. In Switzerland, we listen when our own economists speak plainly.